Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2020 Toyota Rav4 Hybrid Limited. Toyota here in Murray told me this car is super hot. They've just been selling out of them instantly, so I'm super lucky that this one isn't sold yet, but it probably will be after I post this video, or probably even before I post this video. But anyways, again, a big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller Toyota here in Murray for providing us with that RAV4. Check out their inventory in the link below. We're gonna do a quick walk around the car, then we're gonna take it out to see how it drives. So under the hood of the RAV4, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic transmission. Torque output that I could find on the hybrids at 184 pound-feet. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but that's all I could find. Power output though is for sure 219 horsepower combined between the electrical system and then the gas engine. That goes to a all-wheel drive system that's electric on demand, which I think is pretty cool. Fuel economy is 41 around town and then 38 on the highway, being 40 combined, which is actually really good for an SUV. Let's wrap things up on the front end. So this one is finished in a metallic gray. I really love this color. It looks really good, especially when it's clean like it is now. You can see that we've got the full LED lights. You've got those little projector bulbs right there. Fog lights are down below. This is how you can tell this is a hybrid, by the way, with badging. The badging will be blue on all Toyota hybrids. That also doubles as like a sensor for adaptive cruise control and upgraded Toyotas. You can see the whole front end in general. I love the new front end on the RAV4s. It looks so much more aggressive and just, it's more modern in general. Around the side here, we've got two 25mm tires in the front and the rear on 18-inch rims. So yes, this basically has Prius tires, but you can see that we've got the fender flares that come out right there. It's a neat little touch. It says hybrid on the side. Another way you can tell this is a hybrid. And then you've got the all-wheel drive badging right there, so you know it's all-wheel drive. And then you can kind of see this continues all along the bottom, obviously for the kind of like off-road sort of sporty look, since this is an SUV. And here's just one more look at the side of the RAV4. Here's our key fob on the RAV4, so you can see there's a couple functions. Your lock and unlock, and then you've got the tailgate release. So if we hold this down, wait for it, the magic will happen and the tailgate will pop right open. And then if you go into here, you can see that we've got the little RAV4 mat in the back there. One of the speakers for the sound system right there. And then under this carpeting, if we pick this up actually, you can see that that is where the spare tire is. You do get a cargo cover from the factory, so you can kind of pull this out here. Latches on right here on the back of the RAV4. Cargo space here is actually really good. Some vehicles that are like in a similar size category, like the Jeep Cherokee, Honda CR-V, for example, Mazda CX-5. This is really competitive with all those vehicles in terms of space in the rear. And then if we want to close the hatch, all you have to do is press that button. It takes a second, and then you guys see that the hatch will lower down. Let's finish things up in the rear. So let's go to the top first. So I'm going to give you guys kind of a view of the whole roof, so you can see the rack that is on the top of the roof here. I really like that little shark fin. It's a pretty cool touch too. You can see the tail lamps. I really like the design of it. It's like a really sharp look on it. Limited hybrid, again, how you know it is a hybrid. Blue badging in the rear. Here's another kind of look at the rear from this side, and then it'll say RAV4 on the other side, and then notice it's dual outlet exhaust tips on the back of the RAV4 as well. Now coming to the rear, this is super interesting. It's got white leather, which I think is a really cool touch. It's very soft to the touch, has a very kind of like premium feel to it. I wish they would have just continued the leather onto here. You maybe just use like piano black trim, even though it's super overplayed. Would have been a cool touch there. Got your door handle. Heated seat controls right there on the door, which is interesting. Your window control, another speaker for the sound system. And here are the seats. You can see they are two-tone seats. You got a little latch at the top of the seat right here to pull the seat forward or backwards. You can see it can recline just a little bit. But yeah, full gray inserts. Cup holders. You just got to pull this down. You can see a couple cup holders will pop out right there. The heated seat control for the passengers just over on the other side. Here is the charging stations and vents for the back. And notice that you get a mat pocket there, but not on the driver's side. So if you want to store stuff in the front, you can't sit in behind the driver. Keyless entry in the front, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, you just gotta slip your hand in and hopefully you have the magic touch and it'll unlock. Now, we can look at the door panel here in the front. Looks pretty close to the rear. Again, that same really nice leather touch right here. The grab handle here is kind of like grippy. You guys can see that material right there is very interesting. Mirror controls right here, all of your window controls right here. It does have memory seats. And then here's the seat in the front, which I really like the look of the seat. So you guys can kind of see the perforations on it. Leather's actually pretty soft on these seats. Fully power adjustable. It says RAV4 right there. You got your pedal layout right here. That's for the gas. That's your hood latch release. heated steering wheel, that's for your tailgate. And then you got your light controls right here. And then if you look, the steering wheel is going to be manually adjustable in the RAV4. To start the RAV4, put your foot on the brake, push the push start. And you won't hear the engine fire up because it's a hybrid. So all the electronics will turn on, the electric motors, all that kind of stuff. Battery will run everything, not the electric motors, but the battery will run everything. And yeah, oh, there we go. Now the engine came to life. Here is the steering wheel in the RAV4. Let's zoom in. You can see the Toyota logo right there. These are your controls for like the cruise control. You've got your collision sense right there. That's your lane departure assistance, and then stuff for the radio, voice commands, radio controls again. This is for the center display. We'll go over that momentarily. Wrapped in leather, you got kind of the nice contrasted stitching on it. And then over here, you notice your windshield wiper stock. This is your light stock / turn signal stock on it. Pretty standard setup. So we've got a couple gauges here, fuel gauge, temperature gauge on the right side. On the left side, you've got the hybrid system gauge. So you can see it's charge or off, eco, and then power when you're flooring it and going a million miles an hour in your hybrid RAV4. But you can see this little center screen. You can see a couple different functions. I think it's pretty cool, the different bits of information. Notice that it just popped up with EV right there. That means the engine just turned off, the combustion engine. So now it's just running off of the battery again. So pretty cool on that. Here is your center infotainment system. It looks like the volume is slightly on, so I'm gonna get copyrighted. No, just kidding. But you guys can see that it's got the analog controls on the side, but then you also get touchscreen controls as well. So you can kind of see the response time when I do use the touchscreen functions on it. I like the fact they double up on the buttons and the touchscreen. What I'd say response time on the touchscreen is it seems like it's okay. It's not like crazy fast. Let's press a couple functions. When you actually press buttons, it's pretty good, as you guys can see. But if we pop it in reverse, that'll be the last thing. You see, backup camera pops up with some trajectory lines. And as I turn the steering wheel, the lines will turn, and then you can see I can change the view on it to either or. I like this view just a little bit more though. Now here is our climate controls, and I really like these dials, just like the rubber that's around them. I think it's a pretty cool touch here, and how you've got the buttons on the outside for everything on both of the dials. It is a dual zone climate. Heated and ventilated seats, it is the same button, so you can either press one or the other. So if I want heat, right, or if I want ventilation. And notice how the lights are different colors. So the heat is orange and the ventilation is green on it. You've got your stability control just over there. And then this is just a blank switch, it appears to be. More charging stations under here with a little bit of extra storage. Here's your shifter for that CVT automatic. You can see that you can shift, well, it's not really gears because it's a CVT, but you know, you can shift the mimicked gears right here at that dual shift mode. Parking brake, you've got your hold here. And then these are the drive modes. We'll get into those in a moment. Cup holders right here. Full center console right there with leather on the top. You can see plenty of storage space, pretty standard for an SUV. And then come over to the glove box. So you can see you've got this storage up on the top of the glove box, which I actually like. It makes things easy to access. You don't have to open anything up. And then right over here, you can see the rest of the glove box. I've got an interesting drive mode select. So it'll pop up here on the center screen when I press a button. So you can see I've got the trail, normal, I've got the eco, I've got the sport, and notice how it makes the gauges red, and then I've got the EV mode as well. But it's pretty cool that it changes the gauge based on the driving mode you're in. I love how they do the sport and then the green and then the trail, how to be kind of like the little rocky thing. So that's all on these buttons right here. So you can see press for trail, you can twist for eco, you can twist for sport, you can push for normal, and then you push for EV mode as well. So it's just cool they give you all that selection with the drive modes. So we've got some stuff happening up here. We've got a little sunglass holder right there. You can see that you've got a sunroof, which you can just do that to open or close it. And you can see one of the rack rails up top. All of the controls for the sunroof are right here. Not a panoramic sunroof, sadly, but that's okay. Other than that, things up top you can see are pretty standard for an SUV. Now let's wrap things up on this hybrid RAV4 by going over pricing. So this particular RAV4 stickers for just under $40,000 before any type of market adjustment. And I know a lot of you are gonna be like, oh, that's crazy amount of money. However, a lot of other SUVs in that segment, like I just reviewed a 2020 Cherokee recently and it was $40,000. But then this one obviously has the hybrid stuff, a ton of safety tech as well. So I feel like, you know, compared to other vehicles in the segment, it's a pretty good value, especially with all the safety tech you get with Toyota. That being said though, let's take the hybrid RAV4 out to see how it drives. So before we set off in the RAV4, let's talk about visibility. So you can see visibility over the hood is really solid on the RAV4. Nothing changes with the hybrid. You can see visibility through the mirror, and you can see there's the little blind spot monitoring icon. Visibility throughout the other mirror. And then you can see visibility throughout the rear on the RAV4 as well. I like that little window there. It's really big, so it actually helps out with visibility in that kind of like blind spot area in general. But let us set off. So initially setting off here in the RAV4, let's talk about road noise and ride quality. So in terms of road noise, the cabin's actually really well insulated. I don't hear a whole lot of tire noise. I don't hear a whole lot of noise just coming from the outside. And I'm actually really close to an interstate, so that is a nice thing to have. In terms of ride quality, it's really smooth. I feel like it's pretty competitive with other vehicles in the segment. It's pretty much the same as all the other ones, so it's just solid on the just ride quality standpoint. It's a really smooth, comfortable vehicle to drive. Now, as you can see, I'm turning here. The steering is really light. In terms of directness, it's actually pretty direct. There's a little bit of play with the steering, but it goes right where you want it to go, and this is a smaller diameter steering wheel, so I wouldn't call the RAV4 sporty, but it kind of has like a sporty driving feel just because of how small the steering wheel is with the RAV4. And so it kind of, like I said, it kind of gives it this like sportier sort of like driving feel on it just with the smaller diameter steering wheel, which is something that I definitely like. So let's get a mild acceleration here at the RAV4. And by mild, I mean like extremely, extremely mild. So, I mean, in terms of acceleration, what I'd say is you get a good amount of power right off of the line. But I mean, once you get up and go, I mean, yeah, like instant power and torque from the electric motors. But I mean, once it's get ups and goes, then you can kind of feel how much power it actually has, which, I mean, I'm not saying it's slow by any means, but I mean, it's definitely not like a high horsepower car or anything like that. So, I mean, it's adequate for what it is, but I mean, what you lack in power, you definitely are going to make up for in really, really good fuel economy. Now, to wrap things up with this video, what I would say overall is, I mean, if you're looking for a really comfortable commuter car, and the reason I drove this in, obviously, a neighborhood is this is probably the scene that you'll be driving this in a lot, is just, you know, comfortable suburb driving, all that kind of stuff. This is a really solid offering for that. It's really comfortable, gets really good gas mileage, especially around town. It gets better gas mileage around town than on the highway. That's most hybrids. But I mean, I feel like in terms of, you know, other vehicles in this segment, there's not really anything that competes with the RAV4 and on the hybrid segment for, you know, just good, reliable vehicles in this price point, all that kind of stuff. It's almost in a category of its own, almost. So if you're on the market for a hybrid SUV, definitely check out this new 2020 hybrid RAV4 Limited. That is going to wrap it up for our video for today. Quickly, again, a big shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Toyota here in Murray, Utah for providing us with the RAV4. Check out the inventory in the link below. I really like this vehicle overall. Like I said, I feel like it's a pretty good value with all the safety tech, the hybrid, all that kind of stuff. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, if you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you think. I'll see all of you in that next video.